Press conference to announce our March 16th event at Home Depot Center. Tremendous event. A lot of fighters are here. At this time, I'd like to present our president, Todd Dubuff.
Thank you, Lee. I'd like to, first of all, welcome everybody to the press conference. It's always great to do boxing press conference in LA. Feels like the energy gets going. All the web guys show up, the guys I avoid all the time. But this is really where the heart and soul of our sport is, and the fans have been, and it's always so exciting to do a fight here. On March 16th, we're proud to announce that at the Home Depot Center, that the welterweight king, Timmy Bradley, will be defending his title against the top contender, Ruslan Provodnikov. It's a fight that we've been working on for a while, and we're really thrilled that we could bring it here, which we consider Timmy's backyard. And Ruslan actually trains out of the Wild Card Gym, so he's very aware of the fight fans that are here in California. But in order to do events like this, you have to have partners. You have to have partners that understand. You have to have partners that understand the power of the sport, understand the power of stars that give everything in the ring, put on great performances. And one of those things that we would like to do is I'd like to thank HBO for really committing to putting this show on. Without them, this sport and how it's been going since the early 1970s when they first got their first Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier fight. They've really made a commitment to the sport and has allowed athletes like Ruslan, like Tim, like Oscar Valdez, like Gabino to eventually make incredible amount of money, to make incredible opportunities for their children. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Tony Warner.
Thanks a lot, Todd, and thank you all for coming today to hear about this great boxing event here in Los Angeles, which will also be televised on HBO's World Championship Boxing. As always, thanks to Bob, Todd, and the staff at Banner Promotions and Top Rank for putting together not just a main event, but a great card. We're delighted to have Tim Bradley back on the network. Tim's been inactive, but we shouldn't forget that this is one of the best fighters in the world. Still undefeated, still puts on a great show, and his opponent only has one loss. Big time fighter for a big time night of boxing on in March at the Home Depot Center. We broadcast from the Home Depot Center before. They've always welcomed us. The fans are great, the atmosphere is great. So on March 16th, it's going to be a good night for boxing here in Los Angeles and to people who love boxing throughout the U.S. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you in March. Bye.
Tony reminds me about the Home Depot Center. So, it has this real charm to it that you go in there, it's very small, it's kind of quaint, and the people are kind of on top of it. So in the fall, we were doing a fight, and it was Donaire Nishioka and Rios Alvarado. And I think the date was October 6th, I'm not sure, it was an October date. And I was really excited to go to this fight, because every day that we're promoters, right, and we're out there, I get like the report, the ticket sales report, and it's like a ticker tape. And I'm seeing how well the fight's doing and everything, and I'm hearing, wow, this place is gonna be going crazy, but I have a baby that's due in 2 weeks. So I'm on lockdown. My ass is not leaving my house. So I had no chance to get down to the Home Depot Center. But all I know is I hear it's one of the most magical nights at the Home Depot Center. The fans, the California people were going crazy. And I was so damn jealous that I wasn't there, I said, we gotta go back. We're gonna put on another show that I know I'll be there for. So that's why we're gonna be there March 16th. So I'd like to thank, Dan Beckerman, everybody at AEG for their support. Obviously, we were possibly going to do Staples Center, but a strike got settled. Didn't think that was going to happen. I was hoping for a lockout, but we ended up at the Home Depot Center, and the AEG is a terrific group, and they've really been a great partner for boxing. In addition to the great partnerships, I'd like to talk about Tecate Conquer. They are an incredible brand. They're based, obviously, they're owned by Heineken, and they have made an incredible commitment to the sport. And as you've seen, that we are, they have continued on with Solo Boxeo, with Top Rank and Univision, and their commitment to knowing that the competitor and the consumers that consume beer that are fans of the fights game is so important to them. So we're going to put a full show on, and one of the most important things our matchmakers do is they find guys that fit for the show. You know, I kind of just bitch and moan about who's on the show, or too many fights, or we're spending too much money, but these guys somehow know how to do it. So I'd like to introduce one of the fighters, also from, I think, the Palm Springs area. His name is Gabino Signs, who will be on the show. He's 8-0. He's handled by Cameron Duncan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I feel really honored and privileged to be up here today in front of the media and the fans and a whole table of amazing fighters with such great talent. And thank you, Todd, for those kind words. First and foremost, I just want to thank God for allowing me to wake up this morning and give me the strength to be here. I think a lot of the boxing world already knows that we just lost a young prospect, a former top-ranked prospect by the name of Omar Henry, and my prayers go out to him and his family. And I just want to speak a little bit about March 16th. The event at the Home Depot Center is going to be jam-packed of amazing fighters, a handful of talented fighters, including myself. I'm looking to put on a great show for the fans, as well as my family and all the supporters. I'm just really honored. I'm pretty much speaking. This is a great venue and a great place in my career right now. I know that I'm young, but I'm ready and I'm hungry, and I'm determined to take advantage of the opportunity that was presented to me. And I don't know much about my opponent. I just found out yesterday who I'm fighting. And but whoever it is, I'm not fighting for a title right now. Just at this moment, but I train as if I am, and I fight, and I train to win. So come March 16th, it's going to be a great show. It's going to be full of fireworks. And just want to say, my name's Gabino Sign. Remember my name. One day I'll be headlining here on HBO. Thank you.
It's always good and refreshing to see the young kids when they come up and they shake a little bit. I shake all the time. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here?
You don't know what you're talking about.
But you know, it's really fun. You see these guys and they talk about it, and he's like, I'm so excited to be here. I'm 8-0, and I just think over the 20 years I've been in the business, these guys that I do that with, right? You sit up here and you introduce a fighter. And I remember doing it with Oscar in '93 when I first came in the business, and then Floyd in '96, and then Cotto. And that brings me to another Olympian that hopefully is in that lineage of not only great Olympians, but great Mexican Olympian. Oscar Valdez is handled by probably one of the best managers and promoters, Frank Espinoza. He came out of the Olympics this past year, and here at this hotel, I get a call from Frank, and he says, Todd, are you going to be in Los Angeles? I said, yeah, I'm actually coming in on Tuesday. He goes, good, I'll meet you in the hotel. I said, great. I show up in the lobby, and it's Frank and the whole Valdez crowd. I didn't expect everybody to show up, but it was great. It was the beginning of a good relationship. You know, he's an incredible prospect. He just as a seasoned veteran in the ring. And it's our privilege to put him on the show and to see the next superstars of the sport grow. So I'd like to introduce Oscar Valdez. And Frank, obviously. Frank, come on. There's never a microphone Frank didn't like.
Good afternoon. For me, it's an honor to be fighting this great card. Timothy Valdez is one of my favorite boxers out there. So for me to get the opportunity to fight one of those cards is a big thing for me right now. This is gonna be my first fight of the year, so I'm pretty excited. I've been training so hard. With my new team, Clemente Medina and strength and conditioning coach Luis Garcia. And Frank Espinosa. We've been doing good things. I'm excited. I'm excited for this fight, and I'm gonna give it my best, like any fight. I just got the news a week ago from a manager, and I'm gonna give it up. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm doing good things right now. I feel like I'm in great shape right now, so I'm just gonna give it all that day. Buenas tardes a todos. Mi gente mexicana que me está viendo. Como siempre he dicho, es un honor para mí pelear en esta cartelera. Como lo he dicho, Timothy Valdez para mí es uno de mis boxeadores favoritos ahorita. Así que estoy un poco emocionado para esta pelea. Tengo rato ya entrenando, no fueron muy largas mis vacaciones, así que rápido regresar al gimnasio. Y bueno, como dije, el 16 de marzo vamos a dar con todo.
Thank you all for being here. I want to thank Bob Barham, Top Rank, Banner Promotions for putting this event together. I'm extremely happy to be here as the manager of Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez caught the boxing world attention with his performances in the Olympics. As a pro, his speed, his reflexes in the ring caused a buzz every time he fights. His exciting performances have turned casual boxing spectators to real true boxing fans. I can say this with great confidence, that Oscar Valdez is a star in the making. On March 16th, don't deny yourself the chance to see what everybody else has been talking about. Come and witness the rise of boxing's future in Oscar Valdez. Thank you.
Frank's getting big time on me. He's got a professional speechwriter. I mean, what's going on here, man? Woo! You didn't tell me about that. Anyway, when we talk about also on the show, which I don't think it's been formally announced, but I know it's announced. In our office, it's announced, and actually, we have a policy at Top Rank is actually, we talk about it over lunch, and then Bob announces it to all the internet writers. So that's the usual form of announcements. So I'm actually going to make an announcement kind of the right way, I think. But we're also on the show is going to be Mike Lee, who's the only athlete to appear twice in the Super Bowl commercial during this past Super Bowl. It was incredible. You watch the subway, and there he is with the gloves, and everyone's like, who's this guy? It's Mike Lee. He's a Notre Dame phenom, and he's still, I think, going to be in a 4 or 6 round bout also. I'm going to go off on a little bit of an Aram tangent. All right? I'm going to take I usually don't do this, but I'm going to do it. All right. I just want to say, because we're going to talk about the main event now, right? I got Art Pelullo and Ruslan here, I got Tim Bradley here, and it's my job right now at this point. Lee gives me these notes, all right? These notes I look at, and he says, you're going to throw it to Art Pelullo. All right, I'm going to throw it to Art Pelullo. But I just want to say something. Any of you guys that give me this crap that we don't do fights with other promoters, will you shut up, please? I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm sick and tired of seeing it on Twitter. I'm sick and tired of saying we're to blame for the sport. I'm sick and tired of all of this rhetoric that is nonsense and not healthy. It is bull. And it's bold for everybody to partake in this, because the truth is when a deal has to get made, Art Pelullo was there. When a deal had to get made, Lou DiBella would be there. A deal had to get made, Dan Goosen would be there. And I just want you to know, stop it. Enough. And with that, I'd like to say, Art Pelullo and his organization have been around since before I came in the business 20 years ago. He's been a constant in the boxing forefront. He's had fighters like Freitas. He's been constantly out there that have always put on weekly shows, been on ESPN, and built up guys. He built up an incredible prospect in Ruslan. And at this point, I'd like to introduce the head of Banner Promotions, Art Pelullo.
Good afternoon. I will say before I get started, when I first got my promoter's license, I was 33 years old in Las Vegas, Nevada. And at that time, Bob Arum was still the biggest promoter in the world, all those years ago. And he came to the hearing, didn't know me, came to the hearing to support me. And at the time, Sig Rogage was the chairman of the commission. And I was a kid. This is what I figured I wanted to do with my life, with my family, my wife and my children. And I get the license, I get my first promoter's license was in Nevada. Then after that, Bob says, "What are you doing for lunch?" I said, I guess I'm going to you. We're going out to lunch. He says, "Come on." And I've known him for 25 years. And he's a very smart, intelligent guy. And he knows how to make deals. And we've had great deals, good deals, but we've always made a deal. And they're very, very good people to work with. I just don't say that now. A couple of weeks ago, I was on the wrong end of a draw, but I'm still debating what to do with that with Burgos in New York, but it had nothing to do with Bob, with the judges, with Juan Carlos. But at the end of the day, there's always a relationship and a deal to be made. And Todd is taking the company in a new direction. And I got to hand it to Bob that allowing you to do that, because he's so set in his ways in his old-fashioned old world, but he actually has taken top rank, this young man, in a new direction, into the 21st, 22nd century. It's terrific. But to talk about the fight, I wanted to say that because the biggest promoter in the world has been very good with me, and I've been always very good with him. And we've had screaming matches, but it gets done. 5 years ago, I went to Moscow, and I had an idea to sign some Russian fighters. And one of them was Ruslan Provodnikov, Dmitry Pirov, Alisher Romanov, a lot of other guys that we've had. And we're signing more Russian fighters. I met him at the hotel at the Savoy, in the lobby of the Savoy Hotel. We started bringing Ruslan over. He was fighting on Acelino Freitas' undercards. And then Ricky Hatton, when I brought Hatton to America. And then they started putting him on ESPN in 4-rounders. And he's a fighting machine. One of the highest rated fighters that ESPN has had in many years. And if it wasn't for ESPN, and I like to say this, I like to give them a plug, and Doug Logre and John Skipper and Wildhack, allowing me to develop fighters on their network that weren't, you know, from America or Hispanic descent, but from Russia and Ukraine and Brazil. You wouldn't have some of these young kids now who would be fighting on HBO. And HBO has opened their doors to some of these kids, and they're doing a great job allowing us to put these fights on. He's very, very television friendly. You're gonna love him. I'm sure, I know most of the writers know him. He doesn't know how to do anything but come at you. Tim Bradley's a great fighter, a great champion. It was great of him and Cameron to give us the opportunity. And so 5 years ago when I bring him over here, he trains in a city called in Kattenburg. It's a 24-hour ride by train from his home. So it's in the northern part of Siberia, the most northern part of Siberia. So he knows what this means. He understands what he's in, the big stage. He understands that it's a great opportunity and they don't come often. And I told him, at every stage of every fighter's career, you must win a fight you're not supposed to win. You'll be a major underdog with the critics, but not with the boxing people, with the odds makers. But at the end of the day, it's a great fight. So I would like to tell you that his manager, Vadim, is going to come up and speak with the fighter. You really want to talk to him. I'm not somebody that likes to say a lot. I like to have the fighters say what they want. But you're in for a real treat. It's going to be a great fight. You're in for a real treat. And I want to thank Tim and Bob and Todd for giving me the opportunity. And HBO, they're just lovely. So right now I'd like to introduce to you Ruslan Provodnikov and Vadim Kornilov.
Хочу поприветствовать, поблагодарить всех, кто сегодня собрался здесь и не остался равнодушен к этому событию.
I want to say thank you to everybody who came here today and who cares about this fight and about boxing, and I really appreciate being here.
Хочу поблагодарить промоутеров и канал HBO за то, что дали такую возможность выйти и проявить себя. Я уверяю, что вы сделали правильный выбор.
I want to say thank you to the promoters here and to HBO for giving me this chance. I want to say that I assure you that you guys made the right decision giving me this chance.
Это бой всей моей жизни, это то, к чему я шел, и это мечта. 16 марта вы увидите бой и не пожалеете о том, что на него пришли.
This is definitely the fight of my life. This is the dream that I've had all my life, and now this is a dream come true for me. And come March 16th, I assure you guys that this is going to be a great fight, and everybody's going to enjoy it.
Брэдли, тебе удачи и всем огромное спасибо. Встретимся во время боя.
Good luck to Timothy Bradley, and I'll see you guys March 16th. Thank you.
Artie, your Russian is terrific. You rattled off a bunch of awes. Like, I mean, so many, all these names. I don't know how you're so good at it. I mean, Jim Lampley, when you see him at the Olympics and he starts, I mean, honestly, I don't know if you, I want to give a lot of credit to somebody. This just reminded me, and because he's HBO, the Winter Olympics, all right, are on. And I'm just giving anecdote, I'm just giving a total off-the-cuff statements. It makes no sense, but he was rattling all these names off. Winter Olympics are on. Jim Lampley, and I don't remember where they are, they're somewhere in Europe, and it's like a last Winter Olympics. And he is covering like the 11 o'clock show for NBC at the time. I'm sorry, I'm naming another network, but anyway. And he's up there, and he's rattling off all these guys' names that are from these Eastern European countries. And I'm like, how does this guy do it? He's incredible. So I see Jim. I see him at one of the fights. I said, Jim, you were in interviews and ripping with this guy and that guy and riffing back and forth these names. And he says, I have a photographic memory. And you just get a real talent for somebody like that actually is just, he's incredible. And when he calls a fight, there's nothing like it, but to memorize these names are incredible. On the other end of this match is the welterweight king. I remember it was back around about 2 years ago, I met Tim Bradley. We were in a hotel, and he looked at me, and he smiled, and he had this like little bit of sparkle in his eye. And I'm like, where the hell's this guy been? And when I say that, we come across fighters all the time, we come across people all the time, but he had a sparkle. And it wasn't that he was an unknown. At the time that I had seen him, he had whipped Kendall Holt, whipped Peterson, he had whipped Devin Alexander, he had whipped Agabreo, whatever the name is, I don't know, Agabreo, whatever, what's his name? Abrego, Abrego, all right, so he had whipped everybody. He was the king, and he had that sparkle, and he had that smile on his face, and that had to come from somewhere, and it comes from within, and it also comes from genetics. So I'd like to introduce Ray Bradley, his father, who's part of his team. Cameron Duncan, his manager. A special thanks to Monica Bradley, who, she's not up here, she's not speaking, but she's really terrific, really terrific. And obviously, the man that hits the mitts, the man that puts up the strategy, the man that picks what our style is going to be and how we're going to fight. I'd like to introduce his trainer, Joel Diaz.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. I want to thank everybody that made this possible. Top Rank, HBO. Special thanks to the Bradley family. Thanks to them. Thanks for them giving me the opportunity and believing in me from day one. Ray, Kathy, and Tim. I want to thank my wife. She always supports me on this and everything I do. First of all, I want to let you guys know that Tim prepares for every fight like if it's a championship fight. For him, every fight is a tough fight. It doesn't matter if it's anybody who is out there. Any fighter, Timothy prepares really, really well. He's ahead of the game. I also want to thank the Provodnikov team for stepping into the plate and giving Tim the opportunity to get back in the ring. He took a long layoff and he needs to stay active. Come March 16th, Timothy is going to do what he does best. He's going to get in that ring and he's going to come out victorious. That's what he does. That's what he does all the time. Thank you.
So I touched a little bit before on his accomplishments. I talked a little bit about that sparkle that you look for when you see an athlete, you know, the little special charm. You know, but Tim also has a philanthropic side of himself. He's a community leader. And in Palm Springs, he's the Grand Marshal on February 18th of the Riverside County Parade. So he's being honored. These things are brought to you. You can create them from within, but they're brought to you. You can't campaign and say, I want to be the Grand Marshal, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. People actually come to you. Tim has a charm, and I remember watching 24/7, my phone blowing up when he was running along that highway, and the sun was going down. Looked like the cars were ripping through him, just ripping by, right by the side. And he was screaming. And he was screaming, and he had that shirt on. The sun it was almost dark out, and you could see the faint lights of the cars passing by. And you just saw him, and he was like, bring it on, talk. I mean, you reminded me of Ali when he was talking trash and talking it up on the streets, you know, when you see the documentary When We Were Kings and things like that. It was magical. And people said, where has this guy been? Well, he proved everybody where he's been. He's been whipping everybody's butt. So he's back in the ring on the 16th. We're so excited to get him back in action and let everybody see how great of a fighter he is. I'd like to introduce the welterweight king, Tim Bradley.
First of all, I want to thank God for this opportunity. Glad to be back. I want to thank my lovely wife. Thank you, hun, for supporting me. I want to thank my family. I want to thank Team Bradley, everybody up here, Cameron Duncan, Top Rank, HBO especially, for bringing me back. I want to thank Team Provodnikov. Thank you very much for actually taking this fight. I'm just glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. Oh, also, I want to thank the media for coming out. Thank you guys. You guys look good out here. Thank all the media, and you know, whether you write good or bad about me, it doesn't matter. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being out here. But for the most part, this is going to be a great, exciting fight. As you know, if you watch Ruslan fight, he comes to fight. You know, he takes your best and he gives his best. Every round he's gonna be in my face, every single round of every second. So he's definitely gonna push me and make me fight hard as I possibly can to definitely get this win. So I'm very excited to be back. Home Depot Center, I've never fought there before, but it's close to home. I know a lot of supporters, a lot of people's gonna come out and watch this fight. Very excited to be back. This is gonna be a tough challenge, so I'm preparing myself like I'm getting ready for, you know, anybody, like a championship fight, as always. And I'm not taking this guy lightly whatsoever. So anybody, you know, if you had that question for me, you can forget about that. I'm not taking this guy lightly. Every fight's a tough fight to me, regardless of the opposition. If you got two hands, you got an opportunity. Every single time, every round, every minute, you have an opportunity. So thank you guys, thank you all for coming out. Don't miss March 16th, I'll be back, glad to be back. I'm happy and I can't wait. My home is the ring, baby, and I love to be in the ring. And you know, this year, I'm looking to be extremely busy this year. First things first, gotta take care of March 16th, and then hopefully I'll be back a few months after that. And I'm trying to get at least 3 or 4 fights in this year. So thank you all for coming out. And thanks Top Rank, thank you very much, HBO again. And we back, baby, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. I could see like this body of relief off him. I was like, he's been waiting for this moment to get up here. It's like the clock was ticking, the timer went off. Anyway, listen, thank you everybody for showing up. It's been a wonderful press conference. We appreciate all the support of the press. On Friday, tickets are going on sale. They're gonna be 200, 100, 50, and 25. So get your tickets, tune in on March 16th, HBO. Thank you to everybody, and don't miss Bradley Provodnikov. Thank you.
Right here.